It's Tiffany's content taking you right through Oregon, where they have a lot of freezing rain going on, still snow on the ground, and 100,000 plus people are out of power right now as we speak, as well as California too. 10,000 plus people are out of power due to this large precipitation that's coming through. It's almost like an atmospheric river, but it's bringing a lot of flooding, scattered thunderstorms and showers all this weekend. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, also going straight through Monday morning with very marginal flash flood warnings possible as well. And just look at that. It's taking a toll on the entire West Coast right over there by Oregon and California, with the most attention to it as well. Bringing a lot of winter activity still down there in California, but also that flash flooding and also those heavy, thunderstorms and lightning that's coming that way too. This is California's timeline, and just look at it. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, definitely still raining. Monday, it's going to, bring in more winter weather and gusty winds, but Tuesday, it's going to start lightening up. And you can see right now in California, you got a bunch of things going on. You got that green and the flooding, and also that flash flood warnings, and then the gray is the dense fog. That blue is winter activity, and then the purple is hard freezing and winter, storms as well. So there's a lot going on in California, but it's still kind of warm over there actually. We're going to take a look at that precipitation that is currently down there, and you can see that it's a lot of rain today that's going to be coming right through California. Lots up to 4 to 5 inches in certain areas. Definitely heavy throughout the next few days over there. And look at Oregon, it's just going to get hammered. It's bloody red over there with all of that rain and precipitation coming through. It's freezing rain at that too, so it's very cold over there. And that freezing rain is also touching the roads and causing a lot of black ice, okay? And what people don't know is, with all that rain over there, 12 inches worth of rain can take the cars away, so just be careful, okay? It's also wind activity over there. You can see again that wind definitely coming over into the Midwest. And look at the Gulf Coast sprucing up all that hard freeze warning, those freeze warnings, winter weather and wind, okay? And then you got it going into Florida as well, but it's starting to cool off a little bit. More rain in Florida today than anything. And then look at the East Coast. It's just winter all over there today. You can see all that snow over there coming out. That Great Lake effect snow that I told you about yesterday, yes, it did happen, and it brought a lot of snow over there, in the Great Lakes area going into the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New York. And then look at look at that trough over there. It's cold. And of course, Washington have all that rain, and Oregon as well too. And then again, back in that Gulf Coast, you can see those thunderstorms and lightning sprucing up out of Texas, going right into Oklahoma and also Missouri. So it's bad down there too. But again, that West Coast has a lot of rain fall this weekend, and this is going into Sunday, and you see all that heavy precipitation over there on the West Coast. And you can see that right here on this video. You can definitely see that all that mixed precipitation. Look at that ice, that hail, that flash flood warnings. It's a lot of activity going over there, and that pressure is definitely moving over to the East Coast, and that's where it's going to turn into snow and bring in more heavy snowfall with that lake effect, cold front coming through. And this is the hazards outlook for the next few days. And just like I told you, that West Coast is getting hammered with heavy precipitation as well as heavy snow and heavy rain. And it's trying to warm up, but it's still cold over there. It's a lot going on, and that Gulf Coast is also sprucing up some storms. Okay, what is that wind chill like today though? We're still in the negatives with that wind chill. Mostly the upper half of the United States, definitely negative 24, coming out of North Dakota, South Dakota, negative 18, and then right into Nebraska with the negative 20s. And even in the Midwest, you get negative 14 over there in Wisconsin. It's still very, windy, and that wind is just very cold, okay? And this, taking a look at the current temperature today, you can see it's dipping all the way down into the south with all that cold, and it's actually trying to warm up, but you still got some negative temperatures. It's hard to say warm when it's so cold. 0 degrees, negative 1. It's still cold. What does it feel like though? It feels like negative 20 over here in the Central Plains going into the Midwest. Definitely negative 10s over there. And then again, negative 20 by that Great Lake effect snow, okay? So New York is getting hammered right now as we speak. And definitely over there on the West Coast, you're going to see all that rain and mixed precipitation coming in. Right now, this is currently what the snow depth is that we have already down on the ground. So even if it's not snowing, there may be still snow on the ground, and look at just where it is. All of that in Washington, coming out of, going into the Great Falls, and then the Midwest, and of course look at the East Coast getting hammered. Now let's go back to Oregon, okay, and look at all that rain that's coming through. That's freezing rain that's coming through, so to speak, and it's a lot of precipitation that's going to be coming. It's also going to be some snowfall along with it, as well as some flash flood warnings and everything, and that's why there are currently power outages now. It is flooded in a lot of areas, and looking on the satellite, you can definitely see all that rain and mixed precipitation coming in, that freezing rain, that heavy snowfall that'll be breaking through, and also those flash flooding. Look at that rain that's just pushing its way in through California and Oregon as well. It's definitely a lot of precipitation coming through, and you can see that here on the surface map. That red there is that rain, and then that pink on the surface map is actually freezing rain, but then you got that mixed precipitation that's coming along right with it, and then of course that blue is the snow. And it's a lot of high and low pressure over there bringing a stationary front, but it'll also be moving out. But right now it's flooding it up as it comes in, and you can definitely see that right here on this surface map. A lot of mixed, that light blue is that snow coming in, okay? So it's a lot of mixed precipitation coming in, and you can also see all the low and high pressures as they flow right through. That stationary front is whipping right through Oregon, and it's going to stay through the Great Falls for the remainder of the weekend, going right into Monday. So just take a look at what we have going on in Florida. There is a stationary front, and it has been raining throughout the day, and sprinkling here and there, but we definitely feel that rain coming through and going right up the East Coast, meeting up with that snow. So you can see here as well, it's a lot of snow on that East Coast. That blue is that snow. And I told you yesterday it's going to be hammering New York and Pennsylvania and all over by that Great Lakes effect, bringing it right over into the East Coast. And looking at the Canadian model, you can see all that snow that's right there trying to work its way out of the northeast, and then more coming in on the West Coast, bringing snow, freezing rain, and more precipitation. Okay, right now it's flooded on the West Coast. Over 100,000 people are out of power in Oregon, and more than 10,000 out of power in California. Okay, so right now it's still cold in Oregon over there by those mountains. You still have snowfall. You have freezing rain coming through. You also have flooding coming through. You have dense fog and winter activity lower in California. And it's trying to warm up, but it's still freezing cold. So it's a lot going on, everybody. Just make sure that you're staying tuned to Tiffany's content. I love doing weather reaction videos with you. Hey, we're reacting to the weather that's going on in the United States. I'm not predicting the weather. I'm not forecasting it. We're just, flowing with it and reacting to it. Tiffany's content. Like, share, subscribe.